Welcome back, my friends, to another episode of the Dental Marketing Secrets Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Thackeray, and we are on episode number 92 today, and we're going to dive into a very interesting topic that I'm excited to share with you. But before we get into that, I want to invite you to join me at the Dental Marketing Summit that is happening on Friday, April 25th, 2025. It's down in sunny Del Mar, California. You'll love it. And we're going to be talking about actionable strategies to attract new patients, enhance your online presence, and achieve unprecedented growth. This is not your traditional conference. It's not people to stand up there and lecture to you all the time or a rah-rah, get you motivated, inspirational type. It is more of a hands-on workshop. And that's what I'm so excited about, is that it's going to be, we're going to talk to you about various strategies, short-term strategies, long-term strategies. I'm going to be talking specifically about Google Ads. We'll have a speaker on SEO and websites, how to use the power of social media to work for you. There's going to be several different sessions, and you'll be in a very intimate setting. There's only going to be 50 seats available. So it's just, we want a small group so that you can ask questions back and forth. There's going to be a lot of collaboration involved, and I'm just really excited. So I wanted to invite you to join me at the Dental Marketing Summit. You can learn more at dentalmarketingsummit.com. But if you're interested in joining us, it's an all-day event, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., somewhere around there. And if you want to go, email me directly. I have a few tickets that I can give out, complimentary tickets, if you want to join me. So my email, Mark, M-A-R-K, at markthackeray.com, markthackeray.com. I'll make sure that's in the show notes. But you don't want to miss out. Like I said, there's only 50 seats available. It's going to be a very, very unique event, and super excited to be a part of it. So if you want more information, visit dentalmarketingsummit.com, or if you would like to go, email me at mark@markthackeray.com, and I will do my best to get you in. Now, let's talk about today's episode. I sat down with Dr. Peter Gabbay, the founder of Dentina.ai, which is a really neat AI-driven dental receptionist. And it's designed to ensure that you never lose another new patient called a voicemail ever again. It's interesting because there's various studies out there that show that most dental practices miss 30% of their new patient calls. And many of those calls are going straight to voicemail. And the challenge with that is that many of those people are not calling back. They just go to the next person on the list. They're searching possibly on Google Maps, dentist near me, and they're just calling to see who's available right now to talk. And if you're missing those, not only is that a missed opportunity, but it's also increasing your acquisition costs. You're spending more on your advertising that you need to, and there's a lot of trickle down effects to that. So we're going to talk about what this is, what Dentina.ai is, with the founder, Dr. Peter Gabbay, and I'm excited to get into it. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. All right, welcome back, you guys, to another episode. I've got a special guest with me today, Dr. Peter Gabbay, who is the founder of Dentina.ai, and we're going to be talking a little bit about that today. But I wanted to first give him a minute to explain, or just give us some background on how your background professionally, but also then how Dentina.ai came to fruition. I know it's kind of a cool story.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. It's kind of weird. People hear that I'm a dentist and a software engineer.
Right.
I created Dentina myself, programmed it. They always assume it's like, I was a dentist and then I got tired or something.
Yeah.
And then decided I was going to go into technology. Actually, it's pretty much the opposite of that. I've always been interested in technology, computers. I started programming when I was 12. I got to college during the dot-com crash. So I was trying to make my decision. Do I go into medicine, dentistry? My dad is a dentist. My uncle's a dentist. My cousins are dentists.
Yeah.
Or do I go into technology? Just happened to be, I got there in 2001, and people basically decided that tech was over. I was able to make my decision pretty easily. Fast forward some years, graduate from dental school, start working with my dad. He kicks me out after a short period of time, saying he doesn't need me. Go find your own practice. So uh, I buy a practice, grow that. Eventually, wind up selling that just before COVID, and just diving full into tech. Uh, last year, I was working a little bit part-time in my dad's office, and realized that he had a lot of missed calls. Basically, I made the mistake of going into his call logs, doing a report, and realizing that they were missing 40% of their phone calls.
Wow.
And so I called some of my friends from dental school. I was like, "Are you guys having the same thing? Is the same thing happening for you?" And they pretty much all said that they were, super short staffed and missing tons of phone calls. And just by coincidence, I've been playing around with some AI voice orchestration technology. So I whipped up a demo, uh, and basically within fast forward, 8 months, and now we're in almost 300 locations across the US and Canada.
That's so cool. So cool. I mean, that's a pretty quick turnaround, right? I mean, did you encounter many obstacles along the way as far as getting that out, launched and all that?
Yeah, and just to clarify for your audience, a little bit extra background. Dentina is an AI dental receptionist, so it was definitely not a sure thing. It's like now it seems obvious now that Dentina's going across, but the concept
Concept.
of talking to an AI even just 8 months ago was like wildly ridiculous.
Yeah.
And in a professional setting, it was especially ridiculous. So I thought when they listened to the demo, I thought they're going to laugh at me, say, "Oh, this is kind of funny," but actually, it turned out that they actually wanted to use it. So just a little extra background
Yeah.
for your audience, what Dentina is. Um, and sorry, I already forgot your
No,
question.
so yeah, as far as getting it to market and to a place where you felt comfortable implementing it with a practice, outside of your own or your dad's or anything like that, did you encounter many roadblocks with that?
So, I'm in a lucky position in that, I had my father's office to be the sort of alpha tester,
Mhm.
had my dental school classmates' offices to, be kind of the first couple offices to beta test, and to prove that it actually was effective. Um, However, I mean, basically, we just spun up a demo, put the demo number on our website. And as soon as we started to kind of direct a couple people to the website, I think we threw up a Facebook ad, Instagram ad at the beginning. It was just, we got inundated
Yeah.
basically. Um, because the pain is real,
Yeah.
like it's a real pain right now. Uh, you know, so many offices. I think I heard the majority of offices are basically short-staffed at this point, especially after COVID. And yeah, I mean, you can't let calls go to voicemail. So it's kind of the obvious solution.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think the concept when I first heard about it, and it was a coaching client of mine who he turned me on to Dentina, and so I looked at it, and yeah, immediately I could see the cool marketing implications for this. As far as differentiating your practice, being able to, like you said, the missed calls is the big one, right? But then it also lends itself to some other things that we'll talk about later. But so yeah, why don't you go into that, Peter, if you don't mind? Is how does Dentina work?
Yeah. So, well, the how does Dentina work is a complicated question. But the way it works for the end user for the dental office is pretty much you know we do a quick you fill out a couple forms. We do a 1 hour onboarding. We integrate with your practice management software, and then for a couple weeks once we go live and implement the call forwarding in your phone system for a couple of weeks, we do a little tweaking here and there just to make sure that everything that Dentina is answering questions correctly, booking correctly. If you wanted to reschedule or some extra functionality beyond that, making sure everything is customized, tailored for the office. That takes a couple weeks, and then after that, it's pretty much on cruise control. I mean, we get asked by doctors like and office managers like, when is the training?
Yeah.
Uh, and there is no training. It's just something that happens behind the scenes. Um, and yeah, I mean it's pretty straightforward. I realized early on in developing this, and this applies to any kind of software you develop for dentists, is like you got to make it super, super easy to get started with it. Like
Yeah.
any kind of like conversion process or training of staff, like that's something that we don't want to deal with,
Right.
right? Like that's pretty much like a no-go. Like
Yeah.
once you need a lot of like conversion or training for your staff, or even some, like that's already like a huge mental roadblock for us.
Yeah.
And so this I tried to make it, you know, um, as easy as possible to get started.
So Dentina then will integrate with all practice management software, all that, so that you can reschedule and it shows up and it's showing the active calendar openings and things like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we currently integrate with most major practice management systems, Dentrix, EagleSoft, Open Dental, uh, even some of the cloud-based ones like Curve, Denticon, Dentrix Ascend, and a couple other ones. But that covers like pretty much like 80 to 90% of what people are using these days.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you're saying it is. So now describe Dentina in terms of what it can do for your practice, how, what that looks like. Because I think one of the big questions that a lot of people listening are probably wondering is, is this going to replace my front desk?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, probably um, the number one sort of area of confusion is the goal of Dentina. Dentina's goal is not to kind of replace humans in your office. Um, even though I'm a creator of AI software, I still think the human touch is very valuable in your office. It's just, does there need to be a human touch in a lot of what we do, and can we kind of reorient and move that human touch more to where it's really needed, rather than just kind of like answering a phone and booking a cleaning. You need your staff on treatment planning, presentations, just dealing with more kind of sensitive, personal issues, rather than just like looking up in your schedule when there's an opening for a cleaning, for example. Um, but really, this is Dentina is focused on replacing the voicemail, which is shockingly widely used still by dentists to deal with missed calls. I saw a statistic that estimates about 30% of calls go missed to the dental office. I mean, from what I can tell, pretty much all of those are going to voicemail, um, which is pretty wild if you think about it. It's such a missed opportunity. If you're missing 30% of your new patient calls to voicemail, um, I would bet a large percentage of those patients are not even leaving a voicemail, and they're just calling somewhere else. So, um, for now at least, Dentina is an augmentation to your team, and just makes the staff that you have more efficient and more focused on more impactful tasks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good way to describe it, an augmentation. Yeah, where you're kind of removing some of those transactional, moments from the team, because there's like you said, there's going to be a lot of those situations where it does require a lot more finesse. You need a human there to understand the context and everything and read. There's visual cues that you'll that we pick up on intuitively, and without even recognizing half the time. So there's a lot of things that go into those types of conversations. But I totally agree. I think there's a lot of it that we could, where we could use technology to supplement our efforts, and really, I think in the end, it can lead to a pretty unique patient experience. In the sense that it gives them so many more opportunities to get what they need in the end without having to do it in during business hours even.
Yeah, exactly. It's just about, I mean, we're so limited on our staff. Like we're in such a, labor shortage, staff, such a crunch. We just can't afford to be, um, having putting our staff on things that can be, easily automated by AI, basically.
Yeah.
They need to be doing more high value things. Um, and it's not really, it's like, it would be nice, it would be nice to just be able to go out there and just hire all these wonderful employees to do everything.
Right.
Um, but it just seems like that's not the reality anymore. Like in this market, like it just seems like it just doesn't, it's just not something that exists anymore. And you have to kind of make do with um a smaller staff,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, and I've seen that too, even before COVID, but it's been exacerbated since the pandemic, of course. But just seems like the industry as a whole was challenging to find the right employees, I mean, and the team members that want to be there. And because now you're not just competing against, the other dental office, but you're competing against, local, retailers and Starbucks and, that are all raising wages. And so yeah, anyway, that's another topic, but it does make it challenging, and so I think this is a great tool that can help ease some of that pain for sure. So Peter, why don't you take a little bit, how many practices are we using Dentina right now?
Yeah, I'd have to, I'd have to check what the latest number is, but I believe we are either at or just recently passed 300
Nice.
offices across US and Canada.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and we're growing quickly. We're trying to keep up with the demand. We've like doubled our team size in the last like 2 months,
Yeah.
especially around the area of onboarding implementations and support.
Mhm.
Um, Even though surprisingly, we've got like almost 300 locations, we only get like 5 support tickets a day or something
Wow.
like
Yeah.
that. But uh, yeah, I mean, it's that's probably the thing that keeps me the busiest is just keeping up with all of our onboardings going
The
on.
new, yeah, all the new practices. So what have you been hearing from those practices, so far? And I mean, some of them are obviously newer to it, but some have been going for, a few months now. What's the feedback that you've gotten?
Yeah, we've gotten, I mean, a lot of positive feedback. And I would say, our goal, the metric we use, we want to create a lovable product.
Mhm.
So I'm really not happy until, until the dentist or the owner or the office manager says we love Dentina. And so um, I would say we hit the target on a lot, and then the rest we get feedback and we just make Dentina better. But we have an extremely low. I think we have a 90. We have over 90%. We offer a 30-day free trial, and over 90% of uh, people who get on a trial stay on with Dentina. So for a business to business software as a service product, I mean that's very high.
Yeah.
That's very high conversion rate. So
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to get to 100%. Hopefully we
Yeah.
get there.
Well, that's a good testament, that people are having a great experience because yeah, yeah, it is challenging, like you said, and it sounds like it's a pretty streamlined process in terms of onboarding and getting that integrated into your office systems, because that is a big challenge. I mean, working on the marketing side and working with offices, and anytime that there's something new, it can cause a mutiny sometimes because you don't want to disrupt what they've been doing. But
Yeah.
so yeah, I totally agree. If it's easy to and seamless to transition, it surely makes it uh, a lot easier for everyone.
And I
Um,
would say that sorry to jump in, but I would say that the number one reason for that very small percentage of practices that don't continue with Dentina is it usually is a little bit of it's not because the office, the owner, the dentist is not happy with it. It's usually because of the staff. Um, for whatever reason, and this is a different topic that probably don't want to get into, but it's the metrics and everything are looking good for the office, but the staff is just resistant to change. There's those offices out there that the staff is just any kind of change you implement, it's just gonna they're just gonna resist
yeah,
it. And so that's been the sort of the main thing that if there is an issue in the small percentage of cases, that it's usually just a staff resisting process change kind of a thing.
hmm
Um, but I think that touches on a sort of larger a larger point about running a practice, which is kind of you want to make sure so sometimes you have the sort of the staff's kind of running the show instead of the boss, so to speak.
yeah,
and
yeah,
and um I think as long as as long as the staff and the owner and they're kind of on board and pointed in the same direction, there's you know there's everything is good and Dentina is great and they stay on.
yeah, yeah. I could see that. Could see that for sure. Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit and talk more marketing specific applications of Dentina. So, I mean, you talked about 30% of new patient calls are missed in a lot of offices, and that's a huge number. I mean, if I'm, we do a lot of ad campaigns, we do, Google search campaigns, Facebook and Instagram ads, all those things. And if we see that, we're driving this qualified traffic and then the phone isn't being picked up, I mean, that's a huge letdown. It's a huge letdown for sure, but it's also takes a huge hit as far as the efficacy of that campaign. I mean, you miss out on conversions, you miss out. I mean, everything. Your acquisition cost goes up. All of those things play a role. So, um, from a marketing perspective, what would you say? I mean, I'm seeing, yeah, there's a lot of applications for Dentina. I feel like to really differentiate yourself. Um, but what have you seen from a marketing perspective from from those that are using Dentina, or just even your own thoughts on that?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, one of the worst things and most frustrating things you could do is you pay for a click,
Hmm.
and it just and someone calls and there's nobody there to pick up.
Yeah,
It's like you pay for this click and then you pay for it to go to voicemail.
yeah,
Uh, So what a lot of dentists will do is if they're doing digital advertising of some kind, they'll just limit it to their working hours,
right.
um, because then there's someone to pick up. But of course, a lot of people, I would say even most people, who are looking for, they want to make an appointment at a dentist, they're probably going to do so after their work is done or during lunch or something um and they uh they know though that the office is not going to pick up. I mean maybe they do, maybe they don't. But either way it's not they it's not a great experience because they either have to wait or they have to call and hit a voicemail.
Right.
And with Dentina, now that you can book appointments 24/7, you can target those after hours time slots. So you have lower CPCs, lower cost per click, um, and lower conversion rate, lower cost per conversion, higher conversion rate for after hours. So it opens up like a whole new world in terms of being able to do digital advertising that let's say your competitors are not doing.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing we're seeing is taking advantage of those after hours opportunities.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really struck me when I first was learning about it. Yeah, it was just that you could, set up a after hour specific campaign, that's outside of your normal working schedule. Like you said, I mean, it's gonna allow you to change that messaging considerably, but also, yeah, the cost to acquire phone calls, conversions, things like that is going to be so much less, and so it's and you're going to just stand out that much more. I mean, especially if you're customizing all that messaging to help them understand that, yeah, you can still schedule right now. We'll tell you, the next available appointment, if we accept insurance, all that stuff. You can get your questions answered right now when you need it, when you're thinking about it, so you don't have to remember or or leave a voicemail and hope to hear back. So yeah, I think that's a huge advantage that Dentina could provide. Um, what would you say? I'm thinking of practice. Are there any limitations to Dentina?
Well, yeah, I mean, Dentina is not a human.
Yeah,
I think occasionally, I mean, most people realize that, but occasionally, we will onboard an office where the dentist is like, oh, Dentina, said this or didn't say that. And it's like, like Dentina's not in your office, is not a
yeah,
human, like does not like, you know, it, it's still an AI, even though it's getting better and better every day. We make incremental improvements every single day. Um, it's still not a human. So and we don't sell it like I said, we don't sell it as a human replacement. If you go on our website, there's nowhere that it says like this is gonna
yeah,
do everything that a human does or anything like that. Um, so I would say that's the first thing to put out there is if you're expecting AI to be exactly like your favorite, you know, receptionist that you've ever had working in your office, not there at least yet. Um, that's one limitation. Another limitation is, like we don't integrate with certain practice management systems, unfortunately, that we're hoping to change that in the near future. Um, um, and the other limitations, we'll say, are going to be they're not so much limitations, but just people have certain feature requests, certain ideas for making Dentina better, and we don't really see that as a limitation. We see that as an opportunity to incorporate that, and I think we're really good at incorporating feedback from our customers. So anything else would I would say be just something on our product roadmap.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Well, that's cool. That is cool. What's the future looking like as far as, I don't know if you've thought about, I mean, you're getting, feature requests, things like that. It's probably not going to be, well, you tell me, what does that of the future look like for Dentina?
Yeah. So um, the benefit, the sort of cheat code that we have, that I have, is that I'm both an engineer and a dentist.
Yeah.
So most of the feature requests that have come in, I would say like 80%, I've been able to I could anticipate.
Yeah.
Um, and our like our future product offerings are based on just what's been my experience, as a dentist, like as a practice owner. And it turns out that my experience pretty much lines up with a lot of other dentists and their
Yeah.
experience. So what you'll see coming up in the near future, I can't reveal too much right now.
Yeah.
But you'll see things that, you know, pretty much every dentist needs, is going to want,
Mhm.
um, and meshes fully with our philosophy of just being super, no training, no conversions, anything like that. It just kind of drops in and automates, some of those things that you're right now having your staff take time out of their day to do. So, it'll be around, just automating more of the receptionist front office workflow, and and making communications, whether no matter what channel it is, whether it's phone or text or whatever,
Mhm.
very seamless and automated. So
That's
um, yeah,
that was going to
well,
be my next question. Yeah, it's just integrating SMS and things like that into it.
yeah, we already do a little bit of SMS texting, but we're gonna sort of in the next probably couple of weeks, we'll be releasing kind of fully automated, text, a Dentina over text, that should be able to, you know, let's say Dentina talk to someone over the phone and then could continue by text, um, if needed. So
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
stop.
So Peter, a few more questions. So I give me kind of an idea too, for, if a practice that you're working with, how does that look inside a practice? If it's functional, Dentina is working and everything like that, what does that look like on a given day? So just when is it coming into play? When is it not? When is front office there? Maybe even taking a phone call versus Dentina.
Yeah, so basically, um, Dentina just sort of kicks in, and if most offices set up Dentina so that if their staff gets busy during the day and they miss a call, it goes to Dentina.
Yeah.
And so, it just sort of happens behind the scene. If they miss a call, it goes to Dentina. Dentina answers it, handles it, sends them a email, with uh, an AI summary of the call, as well as some key data points and a transcript and the call recording as well,
Cool.
in case they want to listen to it.
Yeah.
Um, Most of the time, it's just you can glance at the summary and see what it's about, decide, does this need to be a callback or not? Um, and yeah, that's it. I mean, staff's already checking emails for the most part in most offices these days. So really, there's no kind of change to the usual flow of the office. They'll get a morning digest of missed calls from after hours, and then the same later in the day before they close, just to make sure that they've gone over and checked everything.
Yeah.
Um, there's a reporting dashboard. If for those people out there that love spreadsheets, you can get all the numbers and look at it more high level. Um, and yeah, I mean, other than that, it's pretty it's pretty much it's not something extra that you guys have to think about in your offices uh you know to adapt to or change your ways. It's pretty much just slips into your existing workflows.
That's nice. Yeah, and so there's not a whole lot of updates that the practice needs to do on their end, right? Once they're up and running, it's, you once not set it and forget it because it's always learning and improving. But yeah, it's on their end, it's pretty turnkey that way.
Yeah, I mean, the coolest thing is you come into the office in the morning and you just see, there were some open slots there the day before, and then you see that there's those slots aren't open anymore, and it says booked by Dentina in the notes. And yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the main reason why our retention rate is so high. It's really hard to cancel a service that just magically populates appointments on your schedule.
I love that. Yes. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, 100%. It's a good way to put it. Okay. Well, anything you feel like it would be good to know about Dentina or any last points? I then want to ask you before, while you're thinking about that, and then just after that, if you wouldn't mind just reviewing the trial offer, I can think that a lot of people might be interested in taking advantage of that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, first of all, you can anyone can go on our website, Dentina.ai, and book a demo with us. Just a quick 30-minute introduction demo. Ask any questions you want about it. Um, you know, then we've got a 30-day free trial. Like I mentioned earlier, it's super, super easy to get started. So you can test it out, try it. If you don't like it, you don't pay anything. And but most people like it. I'm 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 happy that we offer the 30-day trial, and it's really kind of a no-brainer to just give it a try. Um, our our pricing packages depend on basically how many providers are in your office. It's sort of, instead of asking for people to like pay by, the phone call or by minute, or try to dig out your call logs, and those are all stuff that I would never have wanted to do as a dentist. So
Right.
have that kind of uncertainty. So we just use like number of providers in the practice as sort of a metric for how busy the phones are going to be, how many calls Dentina is going to be answering. So our packages range from um, I believe it's 279 up to 499 or 599, based on the number of providers you have, on a month to month. It's not an annual contract. There's no commitments. You can get a discount for an annual contract, but it's totally optional. And that's for our after hours and overflow service. We also have additional packages for if you want Dentina to handle all your calls coming in. And we can even just we transfer those calls over to your staff, your human staff, when Dentina can't handle a call. So that's kind of like, we have kind of two tiers of service for Dentina.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. That's cool. Okay, well, Peter, thanks so much for joining us today. I appreciate you taking the time and sharing more about your experience and Dentina specifically. If people want to, get in touch with you specifically, what's the best way to
Yeah, they
reach
can
out?
email me. Email me directly at peter@dentina.ai, PETER @dentina.ai. And yeah, love to would love to talk to whoever's interested, or even just chat about AI or whatever. If you're a practice owner, an office manager, you can reach out. We're happy to talk.
Excellent. Excellent. I'll make sure to link those up in the show notes as well, so you can find those there. But thank you again, Peter. Really appreciate you jumping on and excited to see where you take this in the future.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it, and hope to talk to you again very soon.